So unfortunately, it's another day and another load of bad news coming from the Labour Party. As you can see from the headline behind me, it says that Labour wages war on Thatcher's legacy as Angela Rayner gears up to end right to buy. So you heard that right, Angela Rayner and the Labour Party now want to take away your right to buy your own council house. And this is despite the fact that Angela Rayner used that very same system to buy her first home. So the report went on to say this: Angela Rayner is weighing up bringing more has emerged. The report also went on to say that in a report published yesterday, London Southwark Council accused the scheme of contributing to a 2.2 billion shortfall in local authority accounts. And this bit's the kicker, because it also said that the council, which houses more than 1,500 asylum seekers, also claimed right to buy was worsening Britain's housing crisis and had presented a serious problem for the sustainability of England's council housing. So I think that the key bit of information in that whole report was that council houses 1,500 asylum seekers. Now we know that number stands to get worse with new Labour plans to integrate more and more illegal immigrants into society. So yeah, to sum it up, it's not people buying their own council houses that is causing the housing crisis, is it? We all know it's illegal immigration and government's inability to build new homes. That's the only reason we are in a housing crisis at the minute, because we've got too many immigrants coming into the country that we're planning on giving council houses to. I mean, say what you want about it, but that's the truth. That's what we plan to do with the illegal immigrants that are in the hotels at the minute. We're going to give them council houses. I mean, in some areas, we're building houses for them. So, to blame right to buy people.
That gentleman in that TikTok told a no lies. Literally, this Keir Starmer is literally just trying to do everything Thatcher did, and it's just like, bro, like, oh my gosh. I usually vote for Labour, and I've never seen a Labour like this, and it's just like, you literally should have stuck with Conservative. I'm just like, why? Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be touching on the whole new rules that are happening in the UK to do with housing, especially council housing. So obviously the UK, since the, I want to say late 70s, maybe the 80s, but you get the point, around that time Thatcher brought in the right to buy. So this was for like council tenants that lived in their house and took care of the house for a number of years. If they ever saved up enough or got a mortgage, like if you want to buy this house, you can buy it. So the rules are you have to live in that council house for 5 years, and then you'll get a discount also. So now what Keith's doing, he's stopping the discount, and I think it's like being cut by like 88%. So then it's only going to be like 16,000, which is nothing. And altogether, that's how they usher stuff in. So first he'll scrap the discount, and then eventually they'll be like, no, you can't buy your council house. They stopped it. I'm gonna put it up. Can't remember from the top of my head, but they stopped it in Scotland. I want to say 2016, and then they stopped it in Wales 2017. But like I said, I'll put it there. So it was already coming, because you know what I mean. What happens in other parts in the UK, it's gonna usher in. So eventually, if not this year, definitely next year, they'll probably scrap it altogether. It's a good and bad thing.
So the purpose of this video is to give you guys a bit of guidance around the process of buying your council home. So keep watching, and hopefully this will all help make more sense. This is a government website, and this is all available online. On the 21st of November, the discounts you can get on your homes will reduce. And make a joint application with someone who shares your tenancy, and up to 3 family members who've lived with you for the past 12 months. So if you apply before the 21st of November, the maximum discount could be 70% of the value of your property. So that's up to 136,400 in London boroughs, and in the rest of England it's 102,400. That means if you apply on the 21st of November, you will not get the maximum discount, okay? The maximum discount will reduce, and here is a breakdown of how much it will reduce by. The RTB1 notice, send it to your landlord. They then have 4 weeks to say yes or no. Now, if your landlord agrees to sell, they'll send you an offer. They have to do that within 8 weeks of saying yes, and 12 weeks if it's a leasehold property. Now, going back to the right to buy notice, just fill it in with all the details, and in this section you need to write who the tenants are and which family members you'll be adding. Now, it's really important, whoever you add here, you'll need to consider how these people will impact the mortgage application, because their income, their circumstances, their age, it will all have an impact on how much you can borrow. So you need to speak to an advisor before you submit the RTB1 form, just to make sure you are going about it in the best way possible so that you are able to complete on the purchase. 5 important things to ask yourself is, do you have the right to buy? Can you afford it? Can you afford it if things change in the future? What are the benefits and the risks, and where can you get advice? Obviously, in terms of your mortgage, please do feel free to contact me and I'll try and guide you as best as possible. And there's also right to buy agent services available to help give you advice on the right to buy process.
Miss Angela Rayner, please step forward, because it ain't making sense. And obviously a lot of people are calling her a big ass hypocrite, which she is. So basically, back in the day, she lived in a council house. She bought hers, done it up, flipped it, and she got money. And obviously her and her husband moved somewhere else. That's why they need to stop it. Why I don't agree with buying your council house. Like, if I was to ever buy mine, well, not this where I am, because I'm currently waiting to move, but when I move to my next place, I would in the future like to buy it, but I'm not going to buy it, do it up and then sell it. It's for me to live in forever, and then when I go, to pass down to my kids. So for people that, do it up and then sell it and obviously move out, move on, that's why they need to stop it, because people be like, just having loads of properties. Like, I remember watching one YouTube and it was about landlords versus tenants, and then there was a man on there that had 50 properties, and it's like, now I know council and the housing associations, I know they've got like loads of houses. Like the one that I'm under, they've pretty much got houses. They own a lot of houses all over like Manchester. I thought it was just like my area, but then I'll go and see someone in a complete different area, like say North Manchester, and then I'll see my housing association, and then I'll go down south, and then you know what I mean. I see them everywhere. So yeah, but yeah, reasons like that, I feel like they should scrap it. But for just normal people that literally just want to buy it, let it stay in the family, I think they should be allowed to buy it, and they should be able to have the discounts. So we're gonna get into some TikTok reactions. Go.
And one day, I'm gonna have eyes as blue as the summer sky.
Bitch, you ain't never in a million fucking years gonna have no blue eyes.
Sense, because in order to be on housing benefit or universal credit, you...
Right, this is my 3rd attempt at doing this video because I forgot to add something, so I've started it from fucking scratch. Anyway, the problem that people are having, this is my theory, the problem that people are having, I'm going to use an area like Sutton Coldfield. Now, back in the 90s and the 80s and probably the 70s, a lot of Sutton Coldfield was council. You can tell by the style of the houses. There were certain style of houses that council built, but they all built the massive, huge houses. Now, back then, council tenants, doesn't matter where they're from, what colour their skin is, what religion they are, none of that. The council didn't care, can you pay? And then they saw the house would have been then probably saying, let's say 80,000, just for numbers' sake. Let's not move it about. Roll on nearly 40 years later, the house is now worth over £500,000 because of the area it's in. Now, bearing in mind, if that couple has stayed there all that time, they've paid the mortgage off. They would have had a mortgage for 20,000, 10,000, paid it off like that, had their family lived a great life. Then some of the houses are still council, which have different and numerous amount of tenants, whether they're good or they're bad. Then they start bitching and forget that the house that they bought or the council that they live in next to a council house also was a council property. But they will get pissed at that couple who's now got this right to buy their council property because they don't like them, they don't want them in their area, and because they claim benefits and they're at home all day. That's their business, mind your own. Now again, people are only pissed about council people on benefits or council people having the right to buy because they didn't get in time. Now me, I got in the 90s when they were trying to throw people in the blocks of flats. They're done saying to babies and mums get into flats. They were all moaning, no, I don't want to be in a block of flats, I got a baby, da da da. So random motherfuckers like me who had a job, they advertised it in the newspaper, and guess what? Bam, I was in. Guess what? I still am in a council property, and guess what? I've got the right to buy with a massive discount. Yes, I do. Now, some people say I shouldn't be in a council property, I should give it up. Why? It's my home. It's mine and Duncan's home. Why would I give it up just because we work? Well, the problem is with most people, and a lot of the people who live in council properties who have got the right to buy, just haven't got round to doing it, will say the same thing. Mind your business. We got in time. Now there are 0 council properties. There are nothing. The only thing you've got to do is, like me, is sit back and unfortunately wait for people to not be able to afford it. Then I move into their property. Then I will use my right to buy at the massive discount, because I've been a tenant, a good tenant, since 1999. So does it piss people off? Yeah, it does. Do I care? No. Do most of us council tenants care? No, we do not.
So I agree when they say if you get a new build then you can't buy it. I think that's fair. I'm in a quite old house, like I'm talking like Victorian type of house. So it needs a lot of work. The housing that I'm under, they have to come out a lot. Like it basically needs knocking down and starting again. So I do think it's fair that they are saying that if you get a new build, you can't buy. But obviously, why Labour won is because he promised to make like 150 like million houses. So obviously, people are going to be moving into those houses, but you know, it's just sad to know that you can never buy this. And I'm currently on a Manchester move. It's like a bidding system to get a house. And I do see some properties on there where it's like, you can never buy this house. And it's just like, well, it's just sad because, you know what I mean? Some people, that's the only way they'll ever get on the property ladder. So it is sad, but at the same time, it is what it is. And then there's some people who live in a council house and they're not bothered. Like my mum, like people come on that, oh my gosh, have you not bought this house? She's not bothered. She's just like, you know what I mean? It's not everyone's thing. Some people are happy renting. Some people want to be homeowners. It is what it is. But yeah, I agree with the new builds. No, you can't buy it. I agree with that. But I feel like, you know, if you've lived there, my mum's lived in hers. It's an old house. I'm in my 30s. So probably almost like 37 years. So if she wanted to buy it, you know what I mean? She's a good tenant. She's lived there for so long, taking care of the house. She should get, you know, be offered that big discount. But she doesn't want to buy it anyway, so it's one of those.
You've got 7 days to buy your council house. So the government ain't giving you the big discount no more. So the discount's now gone from 134,800 to £16,000. An 88% decrease. Wow. Start the process from now, because it's definitely going to still take 7 to 8 months, just so you know you can get up to 134,800. What the hell is 16 grand? What's that going to do to you? Nothing.
And it's so annoying because like the waiting list for a council house is just... So I've been waiting for 4 years now, and they're saying it might take up to 2 more years. But basically there's a chart of an estimate, and when I looked at it last year, basically I should have been getting a house this year or next year. But with the war, with things going on like the war and stuff, and then obviously if someone's in an abusive relationship, they're going to get a house before me, which I understand. But at the same time, it's like, that's why there's a lot of conflict right now in the UK, you know, with like the migrants coming over, immigration and all that. And it's true, they do get housing before, let's say, a British person that's born here, works, you know, pay taxes. Like, that's not fair, but life's not fair. Someone I know that works for the council, she did tell me that if you're homeless, you get priority over anyone. So these are the top 3. You're homeless, domestic violence, and if you're like an immigrant, like they're the top 3. Now, with them getting a house, they don't always get the house that they want. Compared to me, if I'm bidding, I'm obviously bidding on that house, so that's the house I want. Let's say if you're like a foreigner, like an immigrant, you don't really get the choice. They just place you in the house and they're like, you have to take it. Pretty much the same if you're homeless as well. If you like refuse it, then it's like, well, you're not homeless then, because a real person that's homeless, you'll take anything, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing. You don't really get a choice when you're like coming over here for the first time. And yeah, but it's just hard. It's not as easy as the, like, you know, they just come over, they get on benefits. It's not as easy as, you know, like the far right kind of people be saying, but they do get a bit of a, you know, like a head start. So I get why they're mad. Like, I get both sides. But the UK is only small, you know what I mean? It's not like America. Like, we're literally overpopulated, and Kiev just seems to be just letting more and more people in. And it's like, to go where? I know they need help. Listen, we all need help. But it is wrong when you're not even like, why is a British person on the streets, but yet someone's just come from, it could be any country, and they're just getting housed? Like, that's crazy. And like I said, I've worked, because when you think of people in a council house, you think, oh, you just lay up on benefit, da 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 da. I've worked since I was 15, you know what I mean? Started something early, you know, like with school, you do work experience. Started from then, and literally after that, they wanted to keep me on. So I've been working since then. Obviously, having kids, I've had kids, gone back to work, been in and out. But yeah, I do think it's wrong that people can pay taxes and just work and help the system. And then it's like, no, like, we're not going to help you. But then you can help someone that's fleeing. So I don't know. There needs to be a happy medium. There needs to be somewhere where you can help people that are fleeing like conflict, war, but yet still be able to help people that have helped the system. And you know, only, you know, good tenants deserve, you know, because there's some people that obviously the house is damaged, it's dirty, they don't pay their rent on time. I would say you don't pay your council tax, but you can't cheat them because they'll be on you. You can't cheat them people, but you get my point. Like, there's some people who are never late, always on time, da 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 da, but yet they're still out here struggling, or living with mold, living with pests, leaks, you name it. Like, it's just so wrong. Okay, guys, so that's it for this video. Please let me know in the comments, do you think it's right that people who live in a council house, you know, get the big discount and they can like buy it eventually, or should the government just scrap it all together? Please like, comment, subscribe, share, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.